Alexa, whatever, and it would happen, right? So Alexa's like abracadabra. In fact, I think maybe we had that once upon a time. We had a device called abracadabra, and that's how we did things. But only a certain select few of us had those things, and those few of us were called wizards, right?
Yes.
Oh, I'm making it all up, Robin. I'm just having a good time. And if I were a doctor who worked with little children, I'd probably come up with great stories all the time. Our next guest does exactly that. He is Dr. John J. Miller. He is a pediatrician, and he is an amazing storyteller, and he's got a fantasy novel for young adults. Does it all seem to fit in now? The Book of Spells is the title of the book that Dr. John J. Miller has written. Listen to this. He is a pediatrician, a neonatologist, hope I said that right, for over 45 years. He was diagnosed with cancer at the age of 5. Wow.
Yeah.
He's an advocate for instilling the love of reading in children. It's something you and I have in common with him. He formed Keep Our Kids Reading, which is a nonprofit to provide free copies of his books to hospitalized children. And he makes hospital stays for children less intimidating. And I can imagine how this all works together. He's put on this planet to help children, and the book is going to do that as well. Although us children at heart will probably like this book as well.
It's a good one.
Dr. Miller, it's an honor to have you on the show. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Larry, and I love your analogy with the dog.
Yeah. Well, I am a good magician, if you ask my dog. I can make that cookie disappear, come right back to my hand every time.
I'll have to use that in one of my books.
So how are you? Where are you calling? Are you in California, Robin said, right?
I'm in California, in Southern California, and I'm actually at the hospital right now. I got here early so I could see some of the babies that need to be discharged home, and then now I'm sitting in an office for the next half hour so I can talk to you, and then I'll go back out on the floor and take care of the rest of the babies that I need to take care of.
Aww.
So, yes, I'm in California.
You even have a gentle voice. What city? Are you in L.A.?
Actually, south of L.A., Newport Beach area.
Oh, okay.
A little bit south of that, near Laguna Beach is where we are.
Okay. Well, my gosh, you've dedicated yourself to something amazing. Did the fact that you had cancer when you were 5 play a role in the person you became as an adult?
I think having the cancer at age 5, in those days, we didn't have anything. We were in a ward of 12 beds, and we had absolutely nothing. Our days, we would sit there and talk to the other kids, but there was really not. We didn't have board games. We didn't have books. We obviously didn't have TV in 1951 in the wardroom. So literally, I would sit for hours on end looking out a window at a chimney across the street, blowing this white smoke up, and I would start forming images in my mind of what it was doing. And from there, I think that opened up my imagination to different things. And then I remember when I was 10 years old, one of my friends from high school said, when we were walking to school together, you always said at 10 you wanted to be a pediatrician. And I remember that. I never wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a pediatrician. So I delineated that at about age 10.
That's cool. Are you by chance on a speakerphone?
Yeah. You want me to off of it?
Yeah, because I think it'll be a lot better. It sounds a little bit speakerphone-y. Are you there? Can you back?
How's that? Better?
So far, so good. Yep.
Okay.
So, can I ask you what kind of cancer you had when you were a child?
I had a neuroblastoma in my left flank. I have about a. And with neuroblastoma, if you get it in time before it breaks its capsule, you're okay. And they caught mine in time. If it breaks out of the capsule, I wouldn't be talking to you right now.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Pretty intense.
I bet your parents, they were just scared to death at the fact that you had this. So.
And my dad was one of these that went through the war and everything, so they never talked about anything. And I keep telling my wife, I wish I had a couple hours to spend with my dad, to find out. How'd you feel when they told you, son back from the war has cancer? How did you feel? I would love to spend time and ask him that.
Oh, wow. How old?
But I never got the chance.
How old were you when he died? Oh, my gosh. The sound is not good.
He died from mesothelioma. He was a machinist. He worked in a refinery, and they were cutting the asbestos for years and years and years without any masks on or anything.
Oh my gosh. And tell us again how old you were when he died, because it went blank for a second there.
I was about 45.
Oh, 45.
Oh, my
okay.
gosh.
Okay.
And
Oh my God.
I'm 72 right now, so
You sound
I'm
so
getting
young.
old, Larry.
Listen how young. Listen how young you sound, though.
I know.
So tell me about your writing. How did writing become part of your life? Have you always been a writer?
No, I haven't always been a writer. Actually, this started years ago when my kids were young. I'm going to sit down and write down a bedtime story. So I wrote a, and then I took it to the hospital when I was working a 24-hour shift. And whenever I had a break, I would start adding to the story. And I've got 6 or 7 chapters here. This is turning into a book, not a bedtime story.
Ah, yeah.
So I continued on with it, and then took that finished product down to a writers' conference in San Diego. And the woman who was in charge of the conference looked at it, loved it, and said, "You need to publish this, but first you need to do a prequel." So the prequel came out as the Book of Spells, and then the second one's going to come out in November as The Sorcerer of the Red Mist, which was the first I wrote.
Oh, my
So
gosh.
this is actually a prequel. Oh my gosh! So, well, good for you. Congratulations on it. You're getting really good reviews on Amazon. Do you have a feeling about the types of books children read, or are you okay as long as they read? Because I remember when Harry Potter first came out, there was a little bit of pushback. There was pushback against the genre. And I thought to myself, all these kids are standing in line at the bookstore waiting to buy a book. That's a pretty good thing.
Yeah, and who's pushing back? The kids are loving it. They can't wait to get their hands on things like that.
Correct.
These are their imaginations, you know. Not every book's for every child. You know, these books are specifically for like 8 to 15 years of age. And I've actually had several of the doctors here at the hospital read it. In fact, one doctor read it when she was on an overnight here. Yeah, every time she went back to the on-call room, she read another couple of chapters. And when she got to the last 20 pages, she started screaming, going, "No, I want more, I want more, I want more." So that was really neat.
Well, that's good.
That's pretty amazing.
So does she know that there's another one? I mean, obviously.
Yes, absolutely, she does. Yeah. And like I said, I'm carrying the characters through all 3 of the novels. So I'm in the process of doing the 3rd one now. It's about 40% done.
So you thought you made a lot of money as a doctor. Wait till you see what comes in from this. This is going to be another J.K. Rowling, right?
Well, hopefully, but the purpose of it is to get donations and sponsors in for the 501c3, the nonprofit, keepourkidsreading.org,
Nice.
so that I can utilize those funds to buy these books to distribute them to the hospital. And so far, I've gotten several hundred books together, and I'm going to start out to children's hospitals in Orange County and San Diego. And actually, I know somebody in Kansas City, so I'm going to be visiting there to give some books out too. So it's starting. It's like the acorn growing into the oak tree. It's starting to form a huge tree at this point.
Well, we'd like to send you some books. Robert will talk to you after we get off the air, and you should get your address, okay?
Okay, great. That'd be
And
fabulous.
we'll send you whatever books you can hand out. So tell me the story in the Book of Spells. Give us like a movie trailer version of the story.
Well, the story actually has witches in it, and it has wizards in it. And it's about a kingdom called Vilgar that started and it occurs about the late 7th century, about 650 AD. And it's about love of family and friends, and it's about treachery and betrayal, battle of good versus evil. All things an adventure story. So anyway, this king who lives in Vilgar takes this wizard in, and the wizard actually tries to overtake the kingdom because he realized the king's old and frail, and his son is too young to run the kingdom. The wizard's manipulating his way into all this stuff. On the other side of England, witches were banished out of their area because of one of the younger ones who threw a spell over a councilman and turned him into a pig. So they're making their way east back to Vilgar Forest. So everybody sort of gets together in the area of Zolgar. The good wizard comes along as an apprentice later on in the story, and he actually befriends the king's son, who eventually becomes the king. So he's with, and his name is Martyr, after my son Marty.
Aw, nice.
Anyway, well, actually, Marty's the only made the final cut. I had the other names in from the original story. Like Marty,
Oh my.
and he's happy. He's happy about that. So eventually, the evil wizard turns to a sorcery. He throws spells over. He creates this red mist, and it basically engulfs an area and can transport a person that he's after to where he is, and then he can do whatever he wants to that person. So that's basically the story. And then, like I said, part 2, the second from that. So.
I think this is pretty amazing.
And so is the second, since the second book was actually the first one you wrote, does it answer some questions? Does it answer some questions that we're left with at the end of this one?
It answers everything. It answers everything, which was what the doctor was asking me. Well, what happens? I said, you got to get the second book and see, but everything. The people are a little bit older. The princess is basically captured in the second book by the evil sorcerer.
Okay. The sound is breaking up a little bit coming from your end. I don't know what's going on there. Doctor, you still there?
Okay.
Okay. Oh, there you are. Okay.
When you are doing your hospital rounds and you see the children who are in the hospital, does it matter if the children have had, are you concerned if some of the children that are in the hospital haven't had any vaccinations?
Well, the majority.
Wow.
So the majority of kids in the hospital setting all have their vaccination. I would say probably 99 are up to date. That's not so.
Gosh, it's breaking up so bad, Doctor. Can we call you back? Do you have his number, Robin?
Let me check.
Let's see if we can fix this signal a little bit.
Let's see.
Right now, it's breaking up really bad on your end.
Well, I don't have his.
Can you?
Oh, yes, I do. I have his phone number.
Okay, Robin is going to call you back during the break. Okay, we'll take a little break. We don't normally do this, but we'll do it right now. And we'll be right back to hear the rest of Dr. Miller's interview. This is The Source, WOCA Ocala.
Morning, we wake up thankful to live in a free nation with liberty and justice for all. But sometimes those liberties can be put in jeopardy, and you may have questions about what to do or who to call. Let Doc Blanchard of Blanchard, Miriam, Adele, and Kirkland help you find the answers. Attorneys at law since 1974 and located in downtown Ocala. If you have legal issues, don't go it alone. Call 352-732-7218. Blanchard, Miriam, Adele, and Kirkland, helping protect your liberties every day.
Medical providers are special, and to look special, they go to Scrub Paradise in Ocala. Located off Easy Street next to Shoe Carnival, Scrub Paradise has a wide selection of top brand scrubs, medical shoes, and accessories. Embroidery is also available. Don't settle for the same boring scrubs. Visit Scrub Paradise today or call 352-873-4368. Your favorite brands are on sale. 352-873-4368. That number again is 352-873-4368.
Hello, gorgeous.
Hi, this is Becky at Hello Gorgeous Salon. It's time to get that new look started. Let's get rid of those sun-damaged ends and faded out color and get into something rich and vibrant. Humidity is not your hair's friend. It causes your hair to capture moisture and leaves it looking dry and unhealthy. Hello Gorgeous is a certified Brazilian blowout salon. We can tame those locks, leaving your hair healthy and shiny with a Brazilian smoothing treatment. So let us help you make a great first impression. Call us today to set your appointment at Hello Gorgeous. Our number is 352-351-5358. Again, that's 352-351-5358. And don't forget, we also do men and children's cuts too. 351-5358. Hello Gorgeous is conveniently located in the heart of downtown Ocala. So call today and set up your appointment at Hello Gorgeous Salon at 351-5358. That's 351-5358.
Hello, gorgeous.
All right, 20 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Dr. John J. Miller is on the phone. He's the author of The Book of Spells. And if you're just tuning in, he's also a pediatrician. He's done work with children as a doctor for over 45 years. He has a new book called The Book of Spells, which is actually the prequel to the next book. We don't know what the next book is titled yet. But the signal was so bad in the first part of the interview, we wanted to see if we can clean it up a little bit. So we might end up repeating some of the things we've already established. Just especially for the sake of the podcast that'll be on later on. Oh, I hope we didn't lose him. Dr. Miller, you there?
Yes, I am, Larry.
Oh, my gosh.
Thank you.
That is so much better. Thank you, Robin.
Better. Sorry about that.
And you probably couldn't tell on your end, right?
No, you were coming through fine.
Okay. Well, thank you for being on there. What is the title of the second book? Do you have a title?
Yeah, the title of the second book is called The Sorcerer of the Red Mist, and the third book's going to be titled The Ghost Queen.
Oh my gosh! Now, does the Book of Spells actually show up in the second book as a book?
The Book of Spells does show up in the second book as a book, and in fact, it's carried through into the third book also.
Okay. So the people who buy the second book will want to know what the Book of Spells has in it, obviously, because that would make more sense. That would be cool to have the Book of Spells.
Exactly. So it carries through all three novels. In fact, it's something that the witches had in the first book, but they couldn't open the book because of a spell that was cast over it. It needed to be opened by somebody of pure evil. So that's where the wizard who decides to take over Vilgar comes into play. And since the book recognizes him as having pure evil, it allows him to open the book and access all these spells that are in this book, which are basically not very good spells.
So does this kind of thinking happen just out of random, or is it like is it symbolic of things happening in real life?
No, it just happens at random. In fact, my wife keeps looking at me and saying, "Who are you?" You know, because I'll sit down with a blank sheet of paper and just carry on and write a chapter or two and then leave it for a day or two and then go back and continue on again. I've never written an outline. It just sort of comes to me. I never had writer's block like a lot of people will get. I just sit down and start thinking about it and using my imagination and, carry through that way. Like I was a 10-year-old kid writing a story type of thing.
But here's
something that the children would like.
But here's why I'm wondering about the parallel to real life, because some of the discoveries that are made in medicine, in health, are actually the result of trying to undo something evil like a cancer, and then all the discoveries that happen in trying to figure out a cure for that become good. And in order to open up the spell, there has to be something evil in a way. Do you see why I was asking that question?
Right.
I don't know that. Maybe it was subconscious.
And that's pretty deep, Larry. for a novel for 8 to 15-year-olds, that's pretty deep. I like that. So. Well,
I think The Wizard of Oz was deep. I mean, The Wizard of Oz had deep depth to it too, right? So it's kind of
exactly
along those lines.
Like I said, this book, it does deal with different themes, like I said, the love and devotion to family and friends, and then it carries through to treachery and betrayal, and the ultimate battle of good versus evil, which we see every day, especially in Congress in Washington.
Right. And sometimes in government also we see evil, and I'm not playing politics here. I'm just saying that we see it whether it's in this century or any other century or decade.
Exactly.
Evil opened up the door so that we could do a lot of good, right?
Right. Absolutely. I agree with you 1,000% on that. So, but like I said, the book is primarily for the kids, and it will be distributed to the hospitals for the kids. But a lot of my adult friends and colleagues have read this book, and they love it, and they can't wait for the second one. So that meant a lot to me. I don't think they're just saying that to be nice. They actually loved it. So
tell us about the nonprofit. Keep Our Kids Reading. Is there a website associated?
There's a website. It's keepourkidsreading.org, and I just got back from a 3-week vacation, and I'm in the process of getting a sponsorship letter together so I can go to Kaiser as well as Costco as well as some other corporate groups to see if we can get sponsors for this website, because the more sponsors I get, the more I can get the books for the kids. And that's my ultimate goal. My ultimate goal is not to make any money on this. It's to get these books in the hands of kids, because I went through it. When I was 5 years old, I went through it. And nothing would make me happier than to have a book sitting there for a kid to read, to escape what he's going through in a scary environment for a few hours a day. Or if he's too sick to read it, his parents can sit at the bedside and read to him or her. So that's the ultimate, is to get sponsors for this website.
And that will sure make a child's hospital stay a lot more acceptable to the child, because only so much TV and video games can go around, and like you alluded to earlier, imagination is the best thing possible for healing.
Absolutely. And the other purpose, the ultimate purpose, is to have the kids read something instead of just glomming on a video game. I want them to be able to read something. And eventually, with time, if I get enough together, then I'll translate the book into Spanish, because we have a lot of Spanish-speaking children that are hospitalized too, so that they can read it.
And that'll be most excellent. And the parents are going to be so, so grateful, because that is a burden on the parent's heart to be there and not know how to help their child, because they're in your hands, but they have to have some way to help them. And reading to them or with them is the most wonderful thing.
It's a total bonding experience. It's fantastic, and that's what my ultimate goal is, to help them do that. So we'll get there. We'll get there. Like I said, this is just an acorn that's starting to sprout wings right now, sprout branches. So,
and we were fortunate to get a PDF of the book, and it really is an interesting read. I do have to say that it is, and I'm an adult, I guess, sometimes.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, the website is keepourkidsreading.org, and you just got a donation, by the way. If you check it out, you'll see.
Thank you.
We want to make sure we help out what you're trying to do. Robin and I have forever, you don't know this about us, but we are a children's act called Robin and the Giant, and so we've been doing it since '88, I think it was, something like that. So you're right in line with what we love doing, and in fact, you're doing way more than we'll ever do. You're actually healing children. So we entertain them, you actually heal them and entertain them. And I think your age group goes higher than ours. We don't
I think so.
Ours ends at about the 3rd grade, if we're lucky.
I love it.
Anyway, thank you so much for doing this. Let's see.
Thank you, Larry.
I found the book on Amazon. I want to make sure that the listeners can go to your website. Is the book for sale on keepourkidsreading.org?
Yes, it is. They can purchase it through keepourkidsreading.org, and there's an Amazon connection on that website, and they can also go directly to Amazon, and then they can make donations to the website too.
Okay, and let's see. Can I click on the new one, the Sorcerer one? Oh, you even have a cover ready for it already. Wow.
You like that?
That says coming in the fall of 2019, so that's coming up real soon, right?
Yeah, I plan to release that in November. I got the final manuscript back from the line editor, and now I'm doing the interiors. And I have the second book is going to be a little different than the first book, because I'm going to have 10 illustrations in it of the different characters. Which, as a kid, I loved reading a book that had illustrations in it. So we're putting 10 in this one.
Well, Dr. Miller, it's an honor to get to know you. If you can hang on a little bit, Robin's going to talk to you. We'd like to send you some books as well, if it's okay.
Sounds great. Thank you, Larry, and you have a fabulous day.
Thank you. You too. We will be right back.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. Starting today, the Trump administration is giving the Homeland Security Department more authority to deport people.
This so-called fast-track deportation process would bypass immigration judges, and administration officials say it's a necessary response